the blame instead of me. Rejected, spat at, beaten, tortured for my disgrace. Out of love, died in my place. I'll live for you. I'll follow you. For the love you show me. Thank you, Jesus. Perfect love you show me. For the love you show me. Thank you, Jesus. Perfect love you show me. Through everyone, past and present, start and end. Son of God took it all to call them friends. Innocent, death could not hold you in its chains. So one day with you we'll reign. I'll live for you. I'll follow you. For the love you show me. Thank you, Jesus. Perfect love you show me. For the love you show me. Thank you, Jesus. Perfect love you show me. For the love you show me. Thank you, Jesus. Perfect love you showed me. For the love you show me. Thank you, Jesus. Perfect love you showed me. For the love you show me. Thank you, Jesus. Perfect love you show me. So I live for you. I
Hello, good evening, and it's Friday. It's Friday, and it's Social Distancing Live, and yeah, welcome. I've just realised I've not put a picture on my green screen, so I'm just going to select a little backdrop for you now. Quite boring, a wall of bricks, but I'll try and think of something a bit better before the end of the programme. But hi, welcome to Social Distancing Live with me, Rob Westall, and we've got a very special episode tonight. We've got Caroline Crawford from Wide Worship, an Irish worship collective, and looking forward to introducing you to their music and introducing you to them as well and what they do. But before we introduce Caroline, I just want to go through a little bit of housekeeping and a little bit of dates for your diary. Just to let you know, there's no programme on Monday. It's Bank Holiday Monday. I've got a young family, and I'm sure you're going to give me a night off. I've been going for 9 weeks now, so I'm taking a day off with the family on Monday, but we have got an action-packed programme next week. So here are a few dates for your diary for next week. So next week we have on Tuesday, we have Sian Rees. She's director of Evangelical Alliance Wales and is a fantastic musician herself. She trained with Hillsongs and is really engaging. Has got a fantastic story. So looking forward to having Sian on as well. That's on Tuesday at 8:30, and on Wednesday we have Ellie Button. Ellie actually has a new single out today. Ellie and her husband Tim have been missionaries, and they've come back to the UK obviously because of the coronavirus pandemic. So they're at home at the moment and in England, and they're going to be sharing their music and fascinating story. That's on Wednesday as well. And on Thursday we've got Neely. They're from the United States. They're fantastic worship duo, husband and wife worship duo, and Neely will be on Thursday from the United States. So that's quite exciting, live as well. So an action-packed week next week, but just note there's no programme on Bank Holiday Monday, and we were going to have a music festival on the 30th of May, but now we're going to have that the week after. So that's on Saturday the 6th of May, 6th of June even. Saturday the 6th of June, we're going to have an online music festival, and Caroline herself from Wide Worship has agreed to be in that as well, so that's fantastic. And we'll be releasing more details next week, so please stay tuned for that. But without further ado, let's introduce our special guest this evening and say hello to Caroline. Caroline, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. Thank you so much for having me. It's such an honour to be here.
No problem at all. And so where are you in Ireland exactly? Where are you?
Oh, have you heard of a place called Donegal?
I have heard of a place called Donegal on the west coast, is it?
Yeah. That's where I'm at, right up in I call it the sticks. My husband would disagree, but I live in the hills of Donegal, so yeah, it's amazing here.
Fabulous. And I'm no expert at all, but the accent doesn't sound Southern Irish, it sounds Northern Irish. Is that correct?
Well, that's the thing, that the further up north you get, the more northern you sound, and the further down south you get, the more southern you sound. So our accents aren't defined by a border, like none of us are really. So
But you originally...
That explains that one.
Were you telling me that you were originally from... Is it Londonderry that you're originally from?
Well, Derry, that's right beside us. I work there. I do life there. My church is in Derry. My university is in Derry. Most of my friends are. I'm originally up from Belfast direction, not quite in the city, but a little town on the outskirts of it. So yeah, but no, I do a lot of life in Derry. It's an incredible city.
Oh, fantastic! I've never been to Ireland, so that's on our list. Me and my wife Anna have always wanted to go. So once this all clears up, we'd love to come over. So it's a very exciting day today, isn't it? You've got an album out, but just please tell us, before we get into that, tell us about Wired Worship and what Wired Worship is, how it began, and what you do.
Oh gosh, well, I started singing in church and was one of the worship leaders about 6 years ago, and I was in such an encouraging environment, really encouraged us to step out and songwrite and try new things and just really be present, with God and whatever He was doing in the room. And I met, a lot of good friends there. And we decided we were going to start a band. We were going to, write our own songs. We were going to release our own worship songs. And it just, years go by, it just developed from that. It was two years ago now that we started Wired Worship, it's more than a church band. It's actually a group of people from many different churches across Ireland, and people link in with us from wherever they travel from. So if you're ever in Ireland, feel free to stop by. But no, the concept of Wired, it was first birthed really out of us just getting together, jamming, worshiping. Spontaneous songs would start to rise up in whatever we were doing, and melodies and the violins and things like that. And I was sitting in a sermon one day, and the preacher, a good friend of mine, Matty McClements, he was talking about Jesus and the fishermen and the boats, and he was speaking about the well-known Bible story in Luke about how when Jesus was in the boat with his disciples, he told them to cast their nets into the sea. Now, they'd been fishing all night and they hadn't caught anything. And when Jesus was with them, that all changed. They were obedient to what they asked them to do, and they cast their nets into the water. And they got such a big catch that they had to summon the nearby boats to help them with that. And I just caught this vision in that moment of us casting out this net to the other worship leaders and the worship communities within our city and across Donegal. And that's really where the name Wired came from. It was the fishing wire that they used to make the nets.
Fantastic.
And that's what we've been doing ever since, just connecting with other worship leaders and songwriters and just seeing what God has for us in those moments.
That's wonderful. If you've just tuned in to Social Distancing Live tonight, our special guest is Caroline Crawford from Wide Worship, an Irish worship collective, and they've got a brand new album out tonight, and we're going to be hearing some of the tracks from it, so excited about that. And I think that's absolutely fantastic, because as it says in the Bible, where unity is, God commands the blessing. And have you found that to be true in since you've begun?
Absolutely. I mean, there's been times we've been on the train and we've been driving under our own steam, but when God is at the helm, we can sense that difference, and it's been an abundance of blessing in terms of what He's brought forward and the friendships that He's created in us, but also the people that we get to reach and talk to as well, because it's strange as a Christian songwriter, and a lot of our guys would testify to this. It's unbelievable the kind of people that actually respond to what you're doing. You expect it to be your Christian pals and your mum and your dad and everybody's all excited, but it's actually the people that you went to school with and the people that you work with. So it's just been a wonderful way to get to reach, and share the message and share the gospel in a really unique and individual way that everybody can connect with.
Fantastic. Well, let's hear some of the music now. So I Surrender, I believe, is the first track we're going to listen to. Could you tell us a little bit about the song and the background behind it all and how it all began?
Yes. Well, that started with, there was a Australian missionary called Laura Powell. She was a photographer, and we met her at a ladies' night, just a wee event. We were all around a campfire, and she actually came to stay with me for a number of weeks as part of her trip. And she was into songwriting. She loved to worship the Lord, and I decided we would take her into the studio to meet my good friend Emma Green. And I was late, but those two were on time, and they were chatting away about living a life fully surrendered to God, and how as Christians, yes, we can speak out over, your will be done, God. But the reality, what does that look like? It looks like handing everything over to Him every morning, every lunchtime, every afternoon, every day of your life. And they started this conversation, to get myself out of the way. Sometimes it's a fight to surrender. And I just felt, a real Holy Spirit moment. I really felt that God was on that phrase, I surrender the fight. Not a physical one, but no more of like a spiritual one where you decide, this is what I want to do. This is my agenda, but actually it's really God. Help me get myself out of the way. This is your day. What do you want to do today? So the three of us, we wrote the song in a couple of days, and yes, it was just an incredible time. And the version that I have sent you was the acoustic version, and we will be sharing the full version on our launch night, which is tomorrow.
Fabulous. Well, this is I Surrender by Wide Worship.
With each new day springs up new life, springs up the waters, stirs up the fight. I'm laying all my weapons down, let my walls crumble down. Whoa, I take his hand, and peace it will overflow. Just rest and hope in Christ alone. Oh, I surrender, I surrender, I surrender the fight. Oh, I surrender, I surrender, I surrender my life. Oh, I surrender, I surrender, I surrender the fight. Oh, I surrender, I surrender, I surrender my life.
Fantastic. That was I Surrender there by our special guest tonight, Caroline Crawford from Wide Worship and Irish Worship Collective, who've got a brand new album out today. And Caroline's very kindly joining us live from Donegal. That was beautiful, Caroline. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. I just want to say hello to a few people, some of whom you may know, by the way, are on tonight. So Janice Jones, my mother-in-law, I don't think you know her. My wife Anna is on the comment section as usual. Sarah Hilton, hope you're feeling better, Sarah. Sarah is one of our regulars here. Simon Reyes from Premier Christian Radio. Hi, Simon. Hope you're well. And who is that guy with the hair, you're saying? Yeah, I know. It's growing back quite quickly, isn't it? So, yeah. Linda Davis, hello to you. Sandy Oxlade, hello to you. John Chadwick, Helen Chadwick. Gavin from the Rhondda. Hello, Gavin from the Rhondda. Lana McCloy, hope you're well. Fantastic. Frank Westall, my dad. Hope you're well. Chris Holland. Chris Holland, not from the Rhondda, he says. I like that. Chris Holland from the mountain, because you live on top of a mountain. How about that? We'll think of a catchphrase for you, Chris. You're amongst friends here. And you've got Louise. Oh, Louise Campbell says, hey, Caroline, my sister from another mister.
Amen, sister.
Fantastic. And then Claire Phillips loved that. She said, beautiful voice and song with a big kiss for you there. And Anna liked that as well. Fantastic song. Simon Reyes from Premier Christian Radio as well said, loving this. Yeah, I don't want to sort of blow smoke or whatever and all that. It's just I like to honour people when they're on, to say if people have loved the songs, to pass those comments on to you, because I know personally as a songwriter we all need encouragement, no matter if people think we do or don't. We definitely need encouragement all the time.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I Surrender, I mean, when that was an acoustic version, as you said, and you've got a different version that you'll be releasing on the launch tomorrow. So you're launching the album tomorrow. So how has COVID and what's happened and lockdown and things affected all your plans? Because I know, from releasing music myself, you have big launches and gigs and promos and all sorts of things. But I imagine that's thrown a spanner in the works, has it?
It sure did. We had planned to release a full album. This album is two halves, part one and part two, because we just couldn't get everybody into the studio that we needed to get the thing finished. But we picked the tracks that we could get finished and decided, you know what, this is not the time for stepping backwards. Now is the time for stepping forwards. And we decided to proceed with everything that we had and share these messages of hope. But it did change. It definitely changed things. Life has gone online, and we, like everybody else, have just embraced that. And we a place where we met, really, we record quite frequently, would be the Nerve Centre in Derry. And we had our very first gig there, and we had planned to go back for our album launch, and unfortunately the doors were closed because of COVID. So again, why step back when you can step forward? We just decided that each of the singers on the album, I think there's 6 of us, and everybody put together a video in their home, in their own space, talking about their story and the journey behind the song, and just popped it all together. And yeah, we'll see how that goes tomorrow night.
Wow,
First time for everything.
So when I spoke to you earlier, you were doing lots of video editing. So did you get it done in the end ahead of tomorrow?
Yes, no, I am not a video editor, so we'll just see how everybody receives that. But yes, it is done. Praise God.
Oh, amazing. I feel your pain because I've been there. So tomorrow night, the launch and everything online, where can people access that and where can people see the album launch?
Well, the album launch will be on our Facebook page. That's Wired Worship. You know, if you just type that in, you should be able to find it. We'll be hosting it on there as well as a variety of, watch parties. I could imagine from the singers and the artists that were part of it. So yeah, you can link in with that on Facebook.
Fabulous. And what time does that take place tomorrow?
That starts at 7:30 p.m.
Brilliant. Yeah, 7:30, guys. Check that out at Wide Worship on Facebook and the album launch. But we're going to hear some more music from you now. And this next song we're going to hear is called Testimony. I feel stupid asking a stupid question. What's testimony about? Because it seems obvious to me when you say, what's testimony about? But yeah, but there's no such thing as a stupid question. What's the inspiration for the song, and what's the sort of inspiration behind it?
Well, as I said earlier, I was in a church. We just went wherever God was taking us in praise and worship, and we were coming to the end of one of the songs on a Sunday morning, and myself and some of the worship leaders just started singing out, "I am yours and you're mine." And I think there's something significant about that because we give ourselves to God. We know that we are His, but to also understand that He is ours as well. We can go to Him with whatever we need to, whenever we need to, and that's kind of the backstory behind the song. But as well as being a testimony, your life as a Christian should leak Jesus, and everything that we do. You shouldn't have to walk into a room and say you're a Christian. To me, that should be obvious. People should see it in the way that you act and the things that you do and the way that you are around people and just different things. And if you listen through the lyrics to the song, you'll see that it's not just about having a testimony, it's also about being a testimony, because as a Christian we might be the only Bible that a non-believer ever reads. So let's make it let's make it look like Jesus. Let's make it point to Him. So that's what testimony is about. And I chose this song because it has all my friends in it. We shot the video for this. We normally shoot a video for all our songs, and unfortunately it just hasn't been possible for all of them. But we shot this video in the forest in my back garden. Wow. And everything we do, we try and make it about community, try and make it about God. And we just had this time of worship, and then everybody back to mine for food and sitting around the fire, and it was just the most incredible day. And I can't wait to be back with all my friends after lockdown, and that's why I would love to share this song.
Oh, that's a great story. Let's we get to see your friends right now. So this is Testimony by Wide Worship, our special guest tonight on Social Distancing Live.
Of your hand to the change in my heart, they're gonna know you saved me. When I soak in your word and it cleanses my soul and renews my mind, and my spirit it soars and my heart flows for you in spirit. See Jesus, my testimony, I am yours and you are mine. This is my testimony, I am yours and you are mine. This is my testimony, I was lost and I was blind, but then you came and you paid the price. Now I am yours and you are mine. When the battle is done and your kingdom has come and you dwell among us and the world is at peace, my song still shall be. You are my testimony, I am yours and you are mine. This is my testimony, I am yours and you are mine. This is my testimony, I was lost and I was blind, but then you came and you paid the price. Now I am yours and you are mine. This is my testimony.
Testimony there by tonight's special guest, Wide Worship, Caroline Crawford from Wide Worship. That's a beautiful song, Caroline. And did you get? I hope it didn't make you too upset seeing all your friends in that video there.
Oh gosh, no, I know I'll see them again really soon. They're a special bunch of people.
And
They really are.
we were talking off air as well that they're from all over Ireland, all different parts of Ireland as well.
Mhm. But this is it, you know, we're so grateful for everybody that God calls across our path, and people have linked in from, you know, the four corners of Ireland, really. It's just been really special, really wonderful to get to jam and write and just worship God with so many different people.
So, I mean, how does the collective work in that regard then? How do you get together, have regular get-togethers, and how does it all operate, I suppose?
It's different for different folks. Now, obviously, COVID has changed everything.
Yeah,
but,
sure.
you know, we stay together online as much as we can, and you know, there's people that are quite close, so they can come round a lot, and there's people who are further away, and we maybe don't see them as regularly, but still keep in touch. So yeah, it's very unstructured, I'm pleased to say, and when people, they feel it on their hearts and they have the time to sow into the ministry, then that's great, and if not, that's also great.
Wonderful. And are they from all different denominations as well, all different types of churches?
Yes, and that's the wonderful thing about Wired. You know, there's no two people believe the same thing about God. You know, everybody's relationship with Him is different, and we celebrate that. You know, rather than, you know, everybody to conform to one idea of thinking, we celebrate the diversity that there is in the body of Christ and the different churches and different denominations. So yeah, we have a lot of different people from a lot of different backgrounds, and it's wonderful.
Fabulous, fabulous. Well, just want to look at some of the comments. So we just heard the song Testimony, of course. Linda Davis says, brilliant. My wife Anna says, you have a talented group of friends. And Simon Ray says, to take your set out into the open wins it for me. For some stunning scenery there. And we're just talking off air that it looks a lot like where I grew up in Wales. You know, it's the same sort of greenery, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Helen Chadwick says, really like that one. John Chadwick says, like this song. And Gail Phillips says, beautiful bunch with a big massive love art. And Gail's
in the video.
Oh, Gail's in the video, is she? There you go. Hi Gail, welcome to Social Distancing Live. Fantastic. And Gavin from the Rhondda says, great harmonies. So that Testimony, of course, part of your album's out today. And so how many songs are on the album, and what can people expect from getting the album, and where can they get it from?
Well, you can get it in all the usual places you download and stream. It's available everywhere. And this album is a little different because it's going to be released in two halves just because of the lockdown. So there'll be 12 songs in total. And in the first half, you can expect just a lot of rugged rawness it's not perfect, but you know what? We don't pretend to be. It's a lot of Irish undertones as well. We really felt that, you know, in our times of spontaneous worship and just being with God, that these melodies and these Irish undertones were coming up and singing them out or playing them on the violin. So there's a lot of that journey incorporated into it as well. And, you know, we sing from the heart, and, you know, people would testify to the songs. It sounds like it was written from a place when you're on your knees with God, and we just really hope that comes across. But yeah, lots of different variety, lots of different singers. You know, Emma Green, Mike Carlisle, Louise Campbell, Lizzie Green. There's a lot of people on there, and just gave their hearts, gave their all to make this happen.
Marvellous. I've popped a picture of the album cover up on the screens for everyone to see, and it's called Here Part 1. So what was the thinking behind the reason Here? You just alluded to sort of that a lot of this album was written while from places perhaps where you're on your knees. So is it where you're sort of seeking God and listening to him in that quiet place? Is that where most of the songs come from?
It is. It truly is. I mean, to me, there's no formula to writing a worship song. You just allow God to push the pen and mold your heart. And here, Mike Carlisle, one of his songs features in the album, and we were just at his church. He pastors a church in a town in Northern Ireland called Limavady, and we were talking about the point of the album. We were talking about the songs we were writing, and one thing that's really close to our hearts is that the sound of this nation would rise up and go forward to bless the people who dwell here and beyond. And, you know, we were throwing things about, you know, the sound of Ireland and the song of here and the sound of here. And Mike said to me, do you ever think about calling the album Here? I thought, yes. You know, it's just one of those real Holy Spirit moments where I just felt God land on that so strongly. And we toyed about the idea, is it here? Is it in here? Or is it here? As in, what are you hearing from your God? What's he speaking over your life? What's he singing over you? What's he saying about Ireland? What's he saying about, you know, the UK? And we just decided we were going to settle on that Here. So that's where the name comes from.
Wonderful, wonderful. I love the depth to that. Even though it's one word, there's so much detail and depth and thought and prayer behind it. That's awesome. And with that as well, you know. Gosh, I mean, none of us could have predicted what was going to happen with COVID and lockdown, and I didn't know I'd be streaming for 9 weeks. You know, most weeknights 9 weeks. Of course, lost all my gigs, so you adapt. Yeah. But you know, God does know, and it says in Jeremiah, of course, that He has a perfect plan and purpose for all of our lives. And one of my big things is I want to fulfill my potential. But sometimes a song that you played earlier, of course, I Surrender. Surrender is quite a negative thing, isn't it? In war, there's a white flag that's raised. It's seen as a defeat. But actually, when you surrender to God, it actually unlocks freedom. And it's also like saying, look, you know me better than I know myself. What is your plan and purpose for my life? Because I know that plan and purpose is going to be fantastic. And it's better than what I could ever imagine. So, you know, really, really pray that the album does really well, and you're really blessed throughout this time, and that this time is an opportunity rather than a curse as it was. And in terms of the where you write from and those times of worship, have you always written worship songs? Is that how your songwriting journey started, from that relationship with God?
Oh gosh, well, I wasn't always in relationship with God. Sorry to say. I was brought up in a Christian household, and I went to church, but didn't grasp it for myself, you know, until I got a lot older. And I first started writing songs, like secular music, but I was never very good at it. And nothing ever was finished. Nothing ever sounded right. Nothing was releasable, really. Nobody would want to hear it. And I became a Christian, and it was very strange how much God puts a mantle on your life. And I went to a church in Ballymena, and I saw the worship team there and the worship leader, and I wasn't even saved at that point, but I knew I wanted to be a worship leader. I knew that's what was. I nearly ran up to the front of the platform and said, how do I get involved? How do I do this? And this was before my walls came down, and I actually gave my life to God. And, you know, I I decided to become a Christian in the middle of a worship song. It was written by Chris Tomlin, Amazing Grace, which originated in Donegal, but he added a couple of extra lines. My chains are gone, I've been set free, my God, my Saviour has ransomed me. And when you spend a lot of your life not walking with God, you don't always feel like somebody would be prepared to pay a ransom for your life. You know, if you were held captive, who would somebody stump up the cash? Would somebody stump up the dough to get you released? And I didn't feel like I had people in my life that would do that. Now there's my family and my parents, and they are wonderful. But you know, when you feel so low and so much self-hatred within yourself, it's difficult to feel loved by anybody. And the truth that Christ would lay down his life and pay his ransom with his blood for me, it just made me throw my hands up and say, you know what, God, I can't do this on my own anymore. I'm doing a rubbish job, and I want you to take the wheel. So that's kind of how I got into the point of the story, writing worship songs, because I realized that I had been writing in vain without him. And whenever I surrendered my life to God and I gave it all to him, things changed in that area. You know, songwriting, it was always a desire of my heart that I never thought I could do. But the very first song that I actually ever wrote is You Reign, which you're going to be playing at some stage today. Yeah, and it was written for a choir, an Easter choir, and basically I couldn't find a song that I liked, so I sat down with my guitar and says, okay, God, if there's something you want to give me, I'll make it happen. And it almost felt like God took over, and I just pushed the pen, and he wrote everything down. And that's basically how it happened. I just surrendered everything I had to God, and the songs just started to flow. So He is so good.
Fantastic. Well, let's hear You Reign. And I messaged you earlier, didn't I? We're preparing a little something for social distancing viewers, which I'm quite excited about. I'll tell you about afterwards. But let's not detract from this song. This is You Reign by Wide Worship.
Your throne in heaven to come atone for me, from Bethlehem to Calvary's cross, your life you trade for me. You taught us by example just how to live our lives, and you taught us how to love each other through selfless sacrifice. You reign in heaven. You eternal.
Absolutely beautiful. That was You Reign by Wired Worship. Their brand new album out today, and our special guest tonight, Caroline Crawford from Wired Worship. Thank you so much for coming on, Caroline. And that's such a beautiful song.
Thank you so much. It's so kind.
I can't believe that that's the first song that you wrote. It's incredible.
Yeah, as I said, I just pushed the pen. God did the writing, and that's a good example of a heart surrendered to God, what he can do if you just let him take the reins.
Amazing. And Louisa Dwyer, hi Louisa, hope you, Richard, and the boys are okay, says beautiful. Chris Holland, love it. And
Thank you so much, everyone.
John Chadwick, couldn't help singing along, says John. We need some video footage of that, John. I'd love to see that. And we'll play it next week on Social Distancing Live. Fantastic. Brilliant stuff. Absolutely brilliant. And then Simon Ray's, this is so great. I was trying to get the number of O's that he had in that there. This is so great.
So kind. Thank you. Thank you so much, everybody.
Marvellous. And yeah, so please, guys, if you could get this. I downloaded it today on Spotify, but are there CD versions? How is it? Where can people get it from? Because CDs, you make more money on the CDs, and you need that for recording costs, surely.
Oh gosh, well, the beauty about our recording costs is that I own the studio, so it's
amazing.
they're quite minimal. But what We will be putting together the full album once we get both halves of it released, but for now it's available in all the usual places that you download and stream. So Amazon Music, Spotify, Apple, iTunes, wherever you normally go, you can get it there.
Fantastic, fantastic. And Louisa Dwyer is equally impressed. That is amazing. First song ever written. Question mark. She can't believe it. Unbelievable. So God bless you, Caroline, and just to encourage you there. And wow, I didn't realize you owned a studio. I think that's where I need to record my next my next album. I'm coming to Ireland.
You're so welcome.
Awesome. So, guys, thank you, Caroline, and God bless you and your family. And we pray safety, provision, and hope that the album launch goes well tomorrow. Please remind everybody where people can tune in and watch that. There's no social distancing live tomorrow, so please go and watch the album launch. Where can people find it?
Oh, it'd be so good to see everybody. You can find it. It'll be broadcast. It'll be streamed on the Wired Worship Facebook page. So if you just look up Wired Worship or follow our hashtag Wired Worship, you'll be able to link in with that tomorrow evening at 7:30.
Marvellous. Tomorrow evening, 7:30, Wired Worship Facebook page there. Don't miss that. And also go and please check out the album. I downloaded it earlier today on Spotify. It's beautiful, and you will be blessed. It is fantastic, as you've heard tonight by some of the songs that we've shared as well. Caroline, thank you very much, and have a great weekend, and good luck for the launch tomorrow. Hope to tune in myself. God bless you.
Oh, thank you so much. God bless you guys.
Bye now. Bye-bye. So that was Caroline Crawford there from Wired Worship. Please check out all their stuff, and thank you for watching this week on Social Distancing Live. And obviously we know that we're going to be broadcasting to the end of the month. Just a bit of news and a bit of an update for you. We will be broadcasting for the first week of June as it stands. I don't know beyond that. I just don't know. But we will be going to the end of the first week of June, and we will have a music festival, an online music festival. Caroline has very kindly agreed to play that, and Wide Worship will be featuring on that on Saturday, the 6th of June. Will that be the final hurrah? We just don't know, but we've got loads and loads of stuff coming up in the meantime, so don't despair. But we won't be on Bank Holiday Monday. The next time we're on is Tuesday. Now we've got Sian Rees from Evangelical Alliance Wales. She's the director, and she's a great musician herself. She goes to City Church in Cardiff and is wonderful. And Sian is coming on Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. And Wednesday we have got Ellie and Tim Button. Now Ellie and Tim were missionaries, and they've come home obviously because of the COVID crisis, and she's actually got a single out today as well, so please check that out as well. Ellie Button, they're on the show on Wednesday, so looking forward to that. And on Thursday we've got an American flavour to the show. We've got Neely, they're from the United States. I think I'm right in thinking they're from Nashville, and they'll be live from the US of A on Thursday as well, sharing their worship music with us. Husband and wife team, Neely are, and really fantastic as well. So looking forward to hosting Jeremy and his wife there on Thursday. So that's next week on Social Distancing Live. Friday, we've got Show Us Your Glory is going to be released on iTunes, Spotify, and things like that. So we're going to put a special program together for Friday as well. And tomorrow at 10 o'clock on the YouTube, if you go to the Sound of Wales YouTube channel, I feature in, we've done a single. It's a song for Wales for this time, featuring Kath Woolridge, Di Woolridge, and worship leaders from lots of other churches, part of the collective that is Sound of Wales, and I'm featuring in it as well. When we filmed it, actually, it was the day after I had my head shaved for Gateway charity, for Gateway Operation Gateway Relief, and then I remembered the next day that I had to film this video for Sound of Wales. So yeah, it's really, really shorter than this, the hair. If you want to laugh at my hair, please check it out. But honestly, it's such an emotional song, because churches from all across Wales, north, south, east, west, all singing this beautiful song, a beautiful old hymn, and there's a spoken word bit in it by Di Woolridge as well, our good friend here on Social Distancing Live. So please check that out. 10 o'clock tomorrow it drops on YouTube. There's the premiere on the Sound of Wales YouTube channel. And this weekend, of course, it's Big Church Day In, and Bean Baker, who was on the programme on Tuesday before last, Bean Baker, he is going to be playing as part of it. He's on the bill from 3 o'clock on Sunday. That's Big Church Day In, 3 o'clock on Sunday on their YouTube channel. Not big day church out it normally is, isn't it? But big church day in. Bean Baker will be playing there at 3:00, and then Woolridge from 4:00 will be hosting the spoken word stage as well. So please tune in for that. So there's plenty to keep you occupied over this bank holiday weekend. I hope you have a fantastic one, and love to your families and friends, and stay safe. Be kind. And this is Show Us Your Glory, which of course will be out on YouTube next week, next Friday, and all the streaming sites as well. If you want to get a copy of it, you can get it from my website. If you go to www.robwestallmusic.com/merch, you can now download it on there. Now it's become available. So God bless you all. Stay safe. Have a fantastic weekend. Thanks once again to Caroline from Wide Worship, and please check out their album launch tomorrow night, 7:30 at Wide Worship on their Facebook page. God bless you all, and night God bless.
We're on our knees, crying out to you. Show us your glory. Show us your glory. Let your kingdom come. We're on our knees, we turn to you, we lay our lives down, we're laying our lives down, let your will be done, you come and save our lives. Your ways are higher, nothing is higher. Glorify your Son. Let your kingdom come, let your will be done as we bow before you now. Come and lead this land with your mighty hand as our hearts all cry as one. Holy Spirit, let your glory fall. crying out to you. Show us your glory. Show us your glory. Let your kingdom come.